You open Spotify and you find the perfect playlist that you want to listen to. You open Amazon and you find the exact product that you want to buy. You open YouTube and YouTube knows that exact thing that you might want to watch. All of these things are powered by data. But here's the thing, the data these companies collect is not clean. It is messy, it comes from hundreds of different sources in different formats. So before anyone can build the recommendation engine, dashboard or analytics, someone has to clean this data, transform this data and make it ready for the business team to use. And that is someone is data engineer. Now, if you have already worked with any data team or if you're trying to learn about data engineering, we already know about concept of ETL. Extract, transform, load. We extract data from the multiple different sources, we transform that data and we load this data to some kind of data warehouse. This is how we used to do things for a very long time. But things have changed. In traditional ETL, you transform your data before loading it into the data warehouse. Why? Because the old data warehouse like Teradata or Oracle had limited compute power. So we used to write complex store procedures, use expensive tools like Informatica and do all of the heavy transformation outside the warehouse. But here's the thing, modern data warehouses like Snowflake, BigQuery, Redshift has changed the entire game. These warehouses have massive compute power, storage became cheap, so you can store terabyte of data and process all of these data within seconds on all of these modern data warehouses. So companies thought, why transform data before loading it? We can directly load our data onto the data warehouse and then write our transformation logic. And this is how ELT was born. So instead of doing extract, transform, load where you transform your data before loading it into the data warehouse, you will directly dump all of your raw data into the modern data warehouses and then write your transformation job inside the warehouse itself. Now the extraction and loading part is quite simple. You can use any tool, directly get your data and dump it into the data warehouse. But what about the T? What about the transformation? And this is where most of the data teams struggle. Let's say you're a data engineer at a company. Your raw data is already sitting inside the Snowflake or BigQuery. Now you need to transform the raw data into something useful. Clean tables, business metrics, aggregate your data and build the dashboards on top of it. In early days of ELT, we used to write a SQL script to transform all of our data. So you will write one script to clean our customer data, second script to join the customer data with the order table, and third script to aggregate all of this data to build the final metrics. Now, if you have 2 to 3 scripts, it's fine. But what if you have like 100, 200, 500 or even more than that? How will you manage all of these different scripts? How do you know which scripts depends on which other script? If someone changes one table, it will also break down the entire downstream table. On top of that, there was no version control. So people used to modify the script on the console itself. There was no Git, no code reviews, no testing. If someone makes a mistake in SQL query, the entire dashboard will show wrong numbers and no one will notice it until a business person comes and say that, oh, I see a mistake in this number. Now to manage this situation, some companies tried using stored procedure. They were very hard to manage, debug and almost impossible to test properly. Other companies also started building a custom tool around using Python. But again, you will need engineers to manage all of these things. So in summary, data teams were spending more time managing their transformation code than actually writing the transformation logic. We moved from ETL to ELT, we got powerful cloud warehouses, we got great tools for extraction and loading, but nobody could solve the transformation layer properly. There was no proper framework to handle the T in ELT. We needed something that could bring the software engineering best practices like version control, modularity, testing, documentation in the SQL world. And this is where, ladies and gentlemen, DBT, Data Build Tool was born. Back in 2016, the data consultant named Christian Handy was running a small analytics consulting firm called as a Fishtown Analytics based in Philadelphia. He and his co-founders were helping early stage tech companies to set up the data infrastructure, and they kept running into the same problem over and over again. Every company was struggling with the data transformation inside the warehouse. There was no good tool for that. And they built DBT, called as a data build tool. They were using DBT for internal clients, and then more and more companies wanted to use the capability of DBT, so they open sourced it. But when they open sourced it, something unexpected happened. Data teams around the world started using it. The community grew so fast by 2020, the entire Fishtown team decided to stop consulting and focus full-time on building DBT. And in 2021, they renamed the company to the DBT Labs. So what is DBT? In simple terms, DBT is a transformation tool that lets you write SQL query to transform your data directly inside your warehouse. So basically you write your SQL script, DBT will compile them, run them onto the right order and build table onto the data warehouse itself. Think of this way, Airflow is a tool to orchestrate your entire data pipeline. DBT is a tool to orchestrate your transformation logic, because transformation is not simple. You will be working with thousands of tables, getting all of the data, doing joins, cleaning the tables, aggregating it, and then having the final table. All of this requires step-by-step execution, and DBT actually helps you in that. So DBT is a tool that handles the transformation part very well. It is not a database, it does not store any data, it does not extract or load data, it only transforms the data that already exists in your data warehouse. That's it, one job, transformation, it does really well. So now let's understand the core components of DBT first, and then we'll look at the hands-on practice. The first and most important thing in DBT is called as models. A model in DBT is just simple SQL file. You write simple select query, you save it as .sql file, and DBT will run this script, create a view or a table on top of your data warehouse. The second concept is DAG, dependency graph. If you have already watched my Airflow video, we already know about the DAG, directed acyclic graph, basically how the data pipeline executes, right? There is a task A and there is a task B. Now A task has to run before running the B task, like there is a dependency between these two tasks, okay? If that order is not there, then entire pipeline will break. So this is the same concept is applied here. Okay, you create one script of SQL, you create a second script, and you will reference the output from the A to B, and then DBT will automatically manage the order of execution for you. The third concept is test. This is where DBT really shines. So if you want to have tests like there should be no null values, the value of particular column should be less than maybe 0 or 100, whatever your logic is, right? You can write all of this inside the test. All of these things will be tested before it reaches to your dashboard. The fourth concept is documentation. DBT will automatically generate all of the documentation for you. You can write the information about your data, like what this table does, what this column actually means, so that other people can actually understand what this data is all about. And DBT also creates a beautiful website for you to actually see. So you can share it across the team and they will understand what are the different types of data that we have. And the last concept is called as a sources and seeds. So the data that you extracted from the multiple sources and dumped into the warehouse are called as the sources, and the seeds are a small CSV file that you want to upload while your transformation pipeline are running. So there are some CSV file lying around and you might want to use that. They are considered as a seeds. Enough talking, let's look at DBT, how it actually works in practice. Whenever you want to learn anything, just go to that website and start playing with that, okay? So we'll also do that. So you can just go onto the getdbt.com. This is a DBT website, and let's create our account. So there's a create account. Just fill the form and you can create your account. So you'll get an email about the verification. Let me just verify that quickly. Now there are two ways you can interact with DBT. One is using DBT Cloud. This is what we'll understand. And second is using DBT Core, which is on the CLI. I will recommend you one project at the end of this video so you can use that to learn it. So let's just give the project name as DBT learn, something like this, okay? And I'll continue. So my project is created. Now I have to create a connection. Connection is with the external data warehouse. Like I can use BigQuery, I can use Redshift, or anything that I want to connect with, right? So I'll add a new connection here. And for this, you need a Snowflake account. So I already have my Snowflake account. Again, the creation process of Snowflake account is pretty easy. If you don't know about it, you can just search my Snowflake in 10 minutes and you'll get the quick overview on how to create the account. Okay. So I have the Snowflake account created. I have to create a connection. You can connect DBT with these many data warehouses or the databases. I'll click on a Snowflake, connection name is Snowflake account, right? Now I have to add the account information here that I can click here onto Snowflake and click on the connect to a Snowflake tool. Now here I will get most of the information that I need for the account. So account identifier, I'll copy this and paste it here. Now database, right? Go to the Snowflake. Let me just create a new database here. I can just create a database by writing create database learn DBT. Okay, and I'll run this. This will create a database over here. Let me just refresh and you will see learn DBT database is created. So I'll put that learn DBT. Now warehouse, usually if you go here and if you click onto the compute, you will see by default one data warehouse or a compute is created for you. So you can select the compute from here. So I'll just copy this and paste it over here and I'll click onto the save. So once your connection is created, just click onto the studio of DBT. This will ask you that, okay, environment is required. So we'll click on the configuration of environment and over here we'll select the connection. Okay. Username, password or key pair method. We'll go with the username password. For me, my username over here is, this is login name, data with their test, and I'll add my password. Okay. Schema, I can give the schema as, let's say, learn DBT only. Target name, that's fine. Thread 6, I can just click on the test connection. My test is successful. I click on the save. Now my DBT is connected with the Snowflake. Okay, so I created a DBT project. I created a connection
of DBT with the Snowflake. I can also select a repository and connect my DBT with the GitHub repository easily so that all the code that I create can easily track. So I'll click on the GitHub, I'll connect to the GitHub account. I already have a repository created on my GitHub. Okay, DBT lab 10 minutes. Okay, set up a repository. Let me click here. Okay, my GitHub account is already connected, but in your case, it might ask for the authorization. I'll click on DBT lab 10 minutes. Okay, so my project is ready. So my basic setup of project is done. So I can just click on start developing in a studio. So what this will do, this will create your entire project of DBT, all of the basic files that are required for DBT project. It will set up and now you can start developing it. So this is what it looks like, right? When you see a DBT project on the first place, this is what it looks like. On the left side, you will see the file explorer. There is a version control. So if you click on the initialize project, and over here right now, this is empty. Okay. Once this project is initialized and once you start committing, all of the information about the project will start coming here. So we already understood about the different parts of DBT. One is models. Models are basically the simple SQL files, as you can see it over here in the example. Right now, you can just delete this example by right clicking it and just do delete. It will delete it. We don't need it. We will create our own. Okay. Then we have the seeds. Seeds, we understood that these are the files that we want to put, small CSV file that we want to put onto our data warehouse. We'll understand that. Then we have snapshot, target, test, macros, logs. All of these things are available. You will understand these things in detail when we do our DBT project. I'll give you that. But right now, our goal is to just get familiar with this because this is the first time we are looking at the DBT. Okay. And we'll build a small mini project to understand how all of this works. So what we'll do, I have these files available. You can find this file on the GitHub. I have added the link in the description. You can just drag these files onto the seeds. All of my files are available inside the seed folder on the left. Then we have the DBT project YAML file. This is where we put all of the configuration related details. So just add this code. Again, you will find it on the GitHub. Let me just remove this also. We don't need it. Okay, this is simple. We keep everything as it is. Just add this seed. Okay, DBT e-commerce and schema as raw models. Then all the folders that we'll create. Not important for you to understand everything in detail right now. Just follow along with me so that you get the taste of how all of these things are working. Okay, we just want to get one working project even if you don't understand everything right now. So this is the goal. Okay, once this is done, I think it is throwing some error. Let's not worry about that. Now on below, you can see, let me just see if you guys can also see at this below location. Let me just adjust my screen so that you can see it properly. Okay. So below, you will see a command palette. Okay. This is where you can write all of the commands to interact with the DBT. So first command we'll write is DBT seed. Okay. When I hit enter, what this will do, this will go onto the seed folder and it will take all of the files that are available inside the seed folder and it will create a table onto the Snowflake. Okay. It will create a table onto the Snowflake. So it is successful. As you can see, all of these things are available. Now, if you go to the Snowflake, if you go, let me just close this. If you go here onto the projects, database, okay, inside the learn dbt there is a schema available, learn dbt, and tables, 5 tables are created. If you click on the preview table, you will see this table information. Let me just see this. You will see these are the information. You can also query it, select star from learn dbt dot row customer, and you will see we have the data available. So simple, right? We uploaded a file onto the seed and we were able to directly create tables onto the Snowflake by just writing one simple query. Okay, this is the start. This is the taste of DBT. Like you can just directly create or interact with the data warehouse using the command line. So now you can right click onto the models, click onto the new folders, and just give staging. Okay, we'll create 2 folders. One is staging and one as mart. Right click marts. Okay. Inside the models, now we will have 2 tables, staging and marts. Now right click on the staging, create a new file named as _sources.yaml. This is where we define all of the sources that are available, right? So I'll just copy the YAML information and paste it over here. Update your schema information as learn dbt, and we can save it as it is. Now right click onto the macros, create a new file as send to $.sql and paste this information. Again, you will find all of this code onto the GitHub repository available. But basically, we have cents and we want to convert this cent to the dollars inside our files. You'll understand when we write the SQL query. And now we will go to the models, and inside the models, right click on the staging, create a new file, and we will create our first models stg_customer.sql, simple SQL file, and we will put this query here. So this is a simple model file. Okay, this uses the CT like statement. So with source as, we select the data from the sources that we have defined. Then we do some transformation, and then at the end we do the select so that it returns the output. Same thing we will have to do for all of our files that we uploaded. So I'll just quickly do that. So new file, stg orders, paste it. Same goes with products. stg products, create, put it here, and stg staging payments. I'll put the payments here. Okay. Now I have created all of the 4 model files that are available here. Now, if I want to create a table based on all of these model files, the query that we added, you just write dbt run dash select staging. Right now, we just want to run the staging models. So I just do dbt run select staging. Let's see if we get any error. If we get any error, we'll try to fix it. Right now, all of our 4 query executed properly. I'll just refresh this. You will see the views are created here. Okay. And you will see staging customers. If I do the preview, you will see the information about the transform data. Okay. Let me just go back to dbt and I'll show you the staging customer. So customer first name, last name, then full name, lower email, city, country, and cast of the create to date. Okay. And if you go here, you will see the exact information, right? Customer first name, last name, full name. Okay. Email, city. So we have added the raw data. We use the models to convert all of this raw data just with a simple command. Okay. Now the same thing we'll do with the bar. So this is our staging data where we do the little bit of transformation. Now we'll add a mart data, which is where we actually do our analytics. So we'll create a new file. We'll add a customer information here. So dim customer. I'll create this. and paste the query. So I'll do this products.sql. I'll create this and I will execute this. Okay, I'll save this. This is done. And then fact table we will have to create. Now, if you don't know about the dim fact table, don't worry about this. The project that we will do afterwards, that will clear most of your doubts regarding these concepts. So we added two files, dim customer and dim products and fact orders. Now all you have to do is just like dbt run, and this will run all of the model files that are available inside the model folder. Okay, so as you can see, it is running dbt. Again, it will run the same dbt products payments order because we ran the entire thing, and dim customer products and factors are also available here. If I refresh this, you will see the customer products and facts are available. You can also preview these table and you will get the information on to the customer level, customer ID level, with the lifetime value of the customer and the total order. So this is how you get started with it, right? You can also now start querying onto the Snowflake if you want to, get the specific type of information. This is the first step. Now, one more thing I'll quickly show you is about the adding test, right? So inside the model, let's say we want to test the staging data before we actually put this into our data warehouse. So create a new file and give the staging models.yaml. Okay. And then we write our test, something like this, which is basically we use the name of the staging, which is the staging customer. Then we check the column. Let's say customer ID, it should be unique and not null. Email, it should be unique. Then for orders, name, order should be unique and not null. Order status, should only have these type of values available to them. And also you can write a test inside the test folder. You can create a new test such as assert payment is positive. So payment value should always be positive, and you just have to write a simple query. Select payment ID amount from this where the payment status is successful and amount is less than or equal to 0. So if this happens, then it will throw you some kind of warning or error. So all you have to do is just like dbt test, okay, and it will do the test on all of your table data that you have created. And as you can see, all of the tests that we have written are passing. So it works fine. So we were able to understand the core of DBT, such as model testing. Now you can also check the lineage over here to understand how it creates the dependencies between the entire DBT. Let me just zoom this, and you can see it is creating all of the dependency like based on the sources of our seed data and the raw products that we created, then all of the staging customer, and then the dimension table that we created. So it creates this entire graph based on that, and it creates the entire execution. So that is what we understood. It is the orchestration for transformation only. So once your data is landed onto the data warehouse, now you can do all of the transformation. But if you want to learn DBT in detail and understand everything about DBT, this is the entire project that I've created, Netflix Data Analysis DBT tutorial course. This will take you from very basic of DBT and explain you all of the concept in very detail. This was everything for this video. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.